My dad was a really devout Catholic, actually, and he would, while I was growing up, he would say, sex is for nothing more than creating a child. And if you're, I think if you're serious about your religious beliefs, especially when it comes to that, that's really what it's for at the end of the day, like, to an extent.
Surely that's, clearly, that's one of the purposes, but it's also to allow a husband and wife to be
connected
and to grow as one. And as the scripture so beautifully teaches well, that we become one. And so that's the purpose of the physical intimacy, which is sacred and beautiful.
Right.
And is considered sacred and beautiful within the Church of Jesus Christ as well.
Talk to us about, because I know people are going to wonder, multiple wives in the Mormon Church. Speaking of big families becoming one, I know quite a bit about it, but I have talked to people before this episode, and that's one thing that they're curious about. Maybe you can shed some light on that.
Sure. I mean, in today's age, of course, multiple wives are not permitted. This was something that was done away with in the Church of Jesus Christ back in the 1800s, in the 1900s, in 1898. So that manifesto was given, and the law was given by the prophet at the time to say, no, this is not allowed anymore. And anyone participating in multiple wives, in polygamy, would not be allowed and be considered a member of the Church of Jesus Christ. So, for more than 120 years, it's been like that. But still, people tend to, and sometimes will label us in that regard. But it's not what's taking place today. It hasn't been around the Church of Jesus Christ for 120 plus years. And it is simply not allowed.
And you're going to have people in every religion doing something that doesn't fit the whole script. You're going to have people who are fundamentalists who are like, no, I still believe it that way and it's my way, blah, 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 blah. But, I just wanted to make that clear for everybody. I wanted to let them know.
And I think it's important to make clear as well that there are some who call themselves fundamentalist members of the Church of Jesus Christ or fundamentalist Mormons. They are not associated in any way, in any degree, to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
One of the big ones would be Warren Jeffs. Thank goodness he's in prison. If you don't know who Warren Jeffs is, I would go check it out. There's a documentary on it. But that seems like somebody who was mentally not right and then took the word and made it his own and affected all sorts of people in a negative way.
In an incredibly negative way, and it's so very sad. I mean, to see the results of what happens when you really are disobedient to what God wants us to do.
And I wanted to say, because I haven't shared this with you, I personally come from a more of an Orthodox Christian background, specifically apostolic, which is one of the older sects, original sects of Orthodox Christianity, which kind of popped up more in the Transcaucasus region, which is Armenia, Georgia. If you're familiar with that region of the world, it's like it's like near the Middle East, kind of, for those who don't know. And so growing up was a lot of lighting up candles, a lot of prayer. And what happened was, and this might be an interesting topic, because what I saw during my teens was this emergence of, and people are going to take offense to this, but this is what I call it, is evangelic atheism. And what I want to explain that because, this chair, this evangelic atheism, where it became sort of a talking point to be rational, to demand the proof of God, to demand this, or people like Christopher Hitchens or Sam Harris, a lot of the speakers that had an impact on that middle school, high school generation of kids that were growing into their own, having some realizations. And during this time, I myself got into that zone. But more recently, in the past few years, I'm actually retreating back to my own belief systems and a little more back into the spiritualism, because I'm finding that a lot of things tend to just go back to God, whether you accept it yet in your heart or not, you know?
Right.
And so that being said, I'm finding also younger kids going back to God more than ever. I think so. And what is happening? What do you think is going on? Do you think this is kind of a crazy question, but do you think that there's an energetic war going on?
When you say energetic war,
Yeah.
I would agree in some sense, and that is, yes, there is a spiritual battle that is happening, a battle for that which is good.
Yeah.
We are involved in a war of good versus evil, and I think that we live in a world that is confused, where there is a lot of uncertainty, there is tremendous division, there is polarization which continues to grow and only increase. And I think that this drives many people to find some spiritual roots, as you discussed.
Right.
And this energy or spirituality comes, we believe, from the heavens. It is driven for us to be more spiritually sensitive, because we are children of God. All of us. We're part of the family of God. We are brothers and sisters, you know. So you as brothers, you know, and part of the family of God, we begin to recognize our divinity and who we really are. So that kind of drives us closer to understand who God is and wanting to be more as he wants us to be, you know, and having that spirituality within us. So if that can be termed the energy that is driving us in that direction, I honestly believe that. But I also believe we're involved in a war, a battle. This is a battle of good versus evil, where good today is being called evil.
Yeah.
And where evil is being called good.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's a confusing world for a lot of people.
It is widely known that the tobacco and diet industries lobby governments with scientific propaganda for years until proven guilty in court. The artificial treatment of our water is the next corporate deception.
For example, virtually every nation in Europe has rejected the use of artificial fluoride. International studies since the 40s have repeatedly shown that endocrine and neurological effects increase after repeated consumption, even at the levels accepted by U.S. government.
Epic Water Filters is the most thorough industry-grade filtration system that Houston Ensemble has ever used. They reduce heavy metals upwards of 99.5%, such as lead and mercury, bacteria like E. coli, and poisons like chromium, nitrate, and fluoride.
Join us in our journey to living a toxin-free life and get your Epic Water Filter using discount code Houston Ensemble, lowercase, one word. That's Houston Ensemble, lowercase, one word, for 20% off your Epic Water Filter.